Did you know that Idaho is home to a waterfall that's actually taller than Niagara Falls, one of the tallest bridges in America, and the place where Evel Knievel attempted one of the wildest stunts in history? Today, we're finding out why Twin Falls might just be Idaho's best-kept secret. The dogs and I stayed in Idaho Falls. It was a great spot because it was close to Craters of the Moon and Twin Falls. I don't normally talk about the parks that we stay at, but we stayed at the Idaho Falls luxury RV park, and it was fantastic. The grass was green, and there was an amazing dog park that was well maintained, that the gremlins loved, and there was even a cool little walking trail that you could access from the walk gate. So overall, definitely stay there again. I wanted to capture all of the amazing rocks that are surrounding us as we start to travel down into our first adventure of the day, which is going to be the Perrine Coulee. Pretty sure I'm not French. That just determined that. But anyways, the Perrine Coulee Falls. The main attraction about this falls is that you can actually walk behind it, which is amazing. If you look to the right, you see that you're fixing to have a big U. We're making a huge U in the road. Off to the left, right here, back tucked away, is actually where the falls is. We're going to walk up to that. You'll see there's other people walking. I don't know where these people go because we don't see them here in a minute. It's kind of a mystery. We could always hope that there's some secret portal behind the magical waterfall, but whatever. We don't see them again, and we have the place all to ourselves, which is great. You'll notice off in the distance, there's this big, huge bridge hidden underneath the sun. We're going to go there next. But for now, this looks like a good little spot to park. I don't know if we're supposed to park here or not, but we are. So there's that. I promise it won't be long. Luckily, the people did disappear and never reappeared, so we didn't have any additional noise, so I didn't have to mute much of this footage. And there she is in all of her beauty. 200 feet tall, flows year-round, and one of the biggest attractions is you can actually walk behind this waterfall. So come on, let's go. Okay, so the Perrine Coulee waterfall drops off into this guy. And if y'all don't recognize him, This is the Snake River. Yes, this is the same Snake River that we met whenever we were at Grand Teton. It flows all the way down into Idaho and further. It's clear the Snake River and I have traveled a long way together. Welcome to the Canyon Rim Trail. So I did not mute any of this background noise footage, guys, because I wanted y'all to be able to hear and experience what I could hear and experience while I was out on this trail. So this bridge that we're looking at is the Perrine Bridge. It is 1,500 feet long and it stands 486 feet above the Snake River that is below it, making it one of the tallest bridges in the United States. As we travel along this trail, some of these views are gonna look similar to each other, but every bend in this canyon somehow would give you a completely different perspective with different colors and different shrubbery. So it was really just magical all within itself. We are coming up on one of Canyon Rim Trail's hidden gems, the Twins. These 13 and a half feet beauties were installed in 2008, and they are known to be the guardians or angels of the Snake River Canyon. They often welcome the sunrise and the sunset. You will notice they have a fence around them for protection. So this clip doesn't have any sound because I did have to mute this one. There was another person talking in the background. But just for some perspective here, this little ledge that we're going out on is about 450 to 500 feet above the Snake River, which is about as high as where the canyon rim sits. I did notice a little trail down here, and y'all know curious me, I was trying to figure out how to get there or what that was, and I'm going to show y'all in a minute exactly what that is. If you look on the right-hand side up against the canyon wall, you will see this little waterfall that's starting to come out of there. I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see it a little bit better. I thought this was just a really great shot. You can see a lot of the different colors. You can see the bridge. I thought this was one of the prettiest shots. And this one, oh my gosh. I kept this shot in here specifically because of all of the different colors of the shrubbery that is hanging out just right here being pretty. I really thought this one was neat because if you look over to the left-hand side, you're going to see what looks like a couple of metal pieces. And I'm going to move over there in just a second. But those are actually seats, guys, where people used to come, and they may still, I don't know what people do, come and sit and watch either the sunrise or sunset. And I thought they were really cool. Y'all remember that trail that I was talking about a while ago and I was trying to figure out what it was for? Look, it's for the base jumpers to land. Y'all, I was not prepared to see base jumpers today, but I'm so excited I did. So I had to go figure out where they were coming from and what was going on. So I went to the bridge. And that sneaky little dude jumped off before I got to him. After he landed, I continued to the middle of the bridge because I wanted to get this shot right here. You can see the river moving, you can see the sun reflecting off of the river, and you can see all the magical colors that surround the Snake River. So this entire time I've been showing you the other side of the canyon wall, but you haven't been able to see where we were standing, where I was standing to show you all of the beautiful things that were across the river. And then I stumbled upon this. That is right. The original daredevil himself, Robert Evel Knievel. And some of you might remember, I was not born yet because I'm so young. But some of you might remember the famous jump that he tried to make over the Snake River Canyon in 1974. We'll talk about it in a minute. But it says, ooh, the dirt ramp is approximately 2 miles east of this point. And I said, bet, let's go. So we did. And here's me and Kong about to go see what this quote unquote dirt mound is all about. I wanted to show you a visual of this canyon rim trail because it really does cover a vast area of the Snake River that you can explore. So this is it. Look at this. So this is the actual dirt mound that his sky bicycle was attached to. So he was attempting to jump from there over to there. Okay, for those of us that weren't born yet, or for those of us that want to go down memory lane, let's talk about what happened. So this is the side of the mound. It's kind of self-explanatory. You'll figure it out as I'm walking through here. But anyways, okay, so on September 8th, 1974, Evel Knievel attempted to jump off of this. And but I say jump, let's think about this in some context here, okay? Because that is over a mile wide, okay? And so he was in his Sky Cycle X2 that was steam powered. You got to remember 1974. Okay. They say it looked more like a rocket than a motorcycle, and it looked like a rocket taking off in the air. Unfortunately, his parachute deployed prematurely, making sure that he would not make it across the canyon. And as I get closer to the edge of this, I was thinking to myself, like, who actually looks out at this and says, oh yeah, I can jump that. Like, no problem. I can totally jump that. Like, what? Anyways, it went down in history as one of the most famous almost moments in stunt history. So for some perspective, off to the left is where the bridge is. But we're not going that way. We are going to go off to the right to our next adventure, which is Shoshone Falls. But we're going to do a couple of things before we get there, which is, number one, walk back down this mound. You still see the concrete structures that were put in place to support the Sky Cycle X2. They say it was quite a production. He was brought in a helicopter, the national anthem was sang, speeches were given, and then the countdown began. They say it was amazing. If only I could have seen it. But it was televised, and some of y'all probably remember it. So that's really cool. Then we cruised off to see this beauty, Shoshone Falls. Off this direction, you can see the Snake River Canyon, which is where we came from. And look at this pretty rainbow. While Shoshone Falls looks small, it is actually magnificent. So it is 212 feet tall, making it 45 feet taller than Niagara Falls. It is nicknamed the Niagara of the West. I was told that it is not at full power, and when it is, you have waterfalls coming off over on the right here as well. Unfortunately, that did not happen today, but that's okay because look, you're about to see a couple little birds fly through here, and they are having the best time. Here they are. This little showstopper came out of nowhere. I don't know what it's named. I don't care. I think it's beautiful, and I want to let y'all listen to it because it's so peaceful. I found this little waterfall whenever I was hiking up to get a wider angle of Shoshone Falls that you can see right down there, just to help connect the dots of all of the things. So the Snake River, the same Snake River that we saw at Grand Teton, it flows down into Shoshone Falls, which is right here. Shoshone Falls flows into the Snake River Canyon, where we were walking on the Canyon Rim Trail, and that goes underneath the Perrine Bridge. And it continues going, but it also has a point where the Perrine Coulee Falls enters the Snake River. It all goes out to western Idaho, into the Columbia River, and into the Pacific Ocean. Pretty cool, huh? Driving in and out of Shoshone Falls was actually really pretty. You could see a lot of the really strong rock formations. Driving in was honestly prettier than driving out, I feel like, but the sun was not our friend, and the glare was really bad off of the dash cam, so I could only show you coming out, which was still pretty cool. Then I cruised off to see if I could find some ice cream, and I did. At the Cloverleaf Farm Market, I found me some delicious Huckleberry ice cream. So the last part of this video is really for my dad. So whenever he was a little dude, him and some of my aunts and uncles came up here to Idaho to work. And so when I was telling him I was coming to Idaho, he was like, well, there's this little town that we went to, and it was Poca something, it's Pocata. And he was like, I think it's Pocatello. I was like, Pocatello? And he was like, yes. And I said, oh my gosh, I actually drive through that on my way to Twin Falls. So this footage is for him. It's a much larger town than he probably remembers. It's got a Home Depot, a Lowe's, all the things, but still. So thought I'd shoot him some footage.